To avoid predators, the mother goat built her nest on a sheer cliff 300 meters high. The steep rock face formed a natural barrier, making it nearly impossible for predators to approach. She chose this spot to raise her kids, to give them the best chance of survival. There's no water on the cliff, so they must descend into the valley to drink. For an experienced climber, this isn't difficult. The mother's soft hooves grip the rugged rocks firmly. But for the newborn kids, the unfamiliar terrain means they could fall at any moment. Guided by their mother, the little goats bravely take their first steps. The cliff doesn't intimidate them. With each step forward, their confidence grows. The mother moves like she was born for these mountain paths. Soon, they reach the valley, but on the flat ground, the kids are more vulnerable. The rocks beneath them aren't entirely stable. A falling stone from above could send them plummeting off the cliff. Loose debris adds to the chaos, leaving the newborn goats panicked. They must stay close to their mother, because foxes are lurking nearby. The foxes are very interested in newborn goats. At the first sign of danger, the kids bolt toward the slopes. The fox pursues relentlessly. On the steeper slopes, the fox's chances of catching them decrease. The kids find themselves trapped on a 9-meter-high rock, with a fox waiting below. But this challenge doesn't stop these natural climbers. They circle the rock, look for the best route, and make a brave leap. They'd rather face the challenge than fall into a predator's jaws. The kids scatter, making it hard for the fox to pick a target. They move like dancers on the cliff, slipping into spots the fox can't reach. As long as she doesn't move, the fox can't get close. But if even one kid slips, the predator will seize the opportunity, and tragedy could strike. Gradually, the kids become agile on the cliff. To survive, they quickly master climbing skills. Their bodies seem to merge with the rock. They jump and move almost without slowing, dancing across the stone. The fox is stunned. Hunting is far harder than imagined. As the kids' climbing skills improve, their chances of survival increase dramatically. Choosing to nest on a sheer cliff was truly a wise decision for the mother. The hungry fox has no choice but to retreat, waiting for another opportunity in the future. Finally, they reach the stream, and after overcoming so many obstacles, they drink their fill. Refreshed, they must return to the steep cliff. There, they are truly safe, protected by nature's barrier from predators. The male leopard had already mated more than 200 times, and by now he was completely exhausted. But the female still wasn't satisfied, and over the past few days, neither of them had gotten much rest. Yet with her constant demands, the male leopard had no choice but to force himself to keep going. Once the job was done, the two would part ways, and 3 months later, Lola the leopard would give birth. But Lola still had 2 nearly 2-year-old cubs, and even though they weren't fully independent yet, she was already preparing for her next litter. For the safety of the newborns, she would soon have to drive the older cubs away, and those 2 young leopards had only a short time left to learn the skills they needed to survive. Lola, of course, was willing to teach them everything she knew. She brought her daughter to a bush pig's den, and the noises from inside left the young leopard unsure what to do. But if she wanted to grow into a skilled hunter, she had to overcome her fear of live prey. In the end, she pulled it off beautifully, successfully taking down a piglet. For her, that was a huge step forward. Not long after, Lola's daughter reached full adulthood. Driven by instinct, she began leaving scent marks in certain spots, but she forgot one thing. This was still her mother's territory. It didn't take long before Lola caught the scent her daughter left behind, and that was something she absolutely could not tolerate, not even from her own offspring. Even though the young female was nearly her mother's size, she didn't dare fight back against Lola's fury. After the confrontation settled, Lola escorted her daughter all the way to the edge of the territory. Anytime the young leopard slowed down, Lola lashed out without hesitation. And just like that, their bond was completely broken. From then on, they would go their separate ways. A harsh reality, but the only way for both to survive. Meanwhile, Lola's son still hadn't left and continued roaming within her territory. He had been trying to hunt on his own, but every attempt ended in failure. Lola felt helpless watching her son linger, especially since he was now even larger than she was. Forcing him out by strength was no longer an option, and tensions between them grew worse by the day. Unable to shake him off, Lola eventually broke down. All she wanted was for her son to leave her territory as soon as possible. The young male couldn't understand why his mother had changed so much, but he eventually realized what she wanted from him, so he stopped lingering, because leaving was the only way he could claim a territory of his own, and one day, start a family himself. Dawa hides behind a rock, her eyes locked on the herd. She hasn't eaten in 3 days. This is her one chance. Her fur blends perfectly into the snow, and each step she takes lands without a sound. Her heart is racing, not from fear, but from the fear of startling her prey. When the barrel let their guard down for a moment, Dawa launches forward like a streak of gray lightning. The startled barrels sprint away in panic, but the deep snow slows Dawa down, and it hides the sharp rocks beneath. Her front paw catches on one, slicing it open. Dawa is hurt, and she can only watch as the barrel vanish over the cliffside. She lowers her head and licks her wound, the metallic taste of blood lingering in her mouth. For the next few days, she's unable to hunt. She keeps licking the gash, hoping it heals fast enough so she can return to feed her cubs. After days of blizzards, the sun finally breaks through, warming her fur and giving her strength to try again. This time, she doesn't target Beryl. She sets her eyes on yaks instead. These yaks are 3 to 5 times larger than Dawa, weighing more than 10 times her body weight. They're incredibly strong, and their sharp horns could kill her in an instant. Dawa is caught between fear and desperation, but she and her cubs haven't eaten in far too long. She has no choice. Her gaze fixes on a calf, wandering away from its mother. She holds her breath and creeps forward. Each step is cautious as walking a razor's edge. This is her only chance. Dawa explodes into action, clamping her jaws around the calf's throat. The calf's scream brings its mother charging in. The massive yak slams into Dawa with brutal force, knocking her backward, but she doesn't dare let go. The mother yak's horns graze her back over and over, leaving burning cuts across her skin. Before she can regain her footing, the yak's hoof crashes down, right on her already injured leg. The pain shooting through her bones forces her to retreat. She knows this battle is lost. Limping heavily, she climbs toward the mountains, each step threatening to drop her to the ground. But she can't stop. Blood stains the snow, step by step, because her cubs are waiting for her to come home. At last, she sees the entrance of her den, but she can no longer lift her body. The cold slowly swallows her, and her vision fades. She can only hear the faint cries of her cubs inside, thin little voices pulling at the last thread of her strength. She wishes she could get just a little closer, just enough to lick their soft fur one more time. But her legs will no longer move. In the distance, the yak and her calf shrink into tiny shapes, and Dawa knows she will never return. She doesn't know whether her cubs will survive, their fate now hanging by the thinnest of threads. The storm grows heavier, slowly burying Dawa beneath the snow, as if the snow leopard had never existed in this valley at all. The remaining cubs will struggle to survive on their own. Maybe fate will give them a slim chance to live. The male red-billed hornbill has found the perfect spot to start a family. His mate isn't far away, so he begins an elaborate courtship dance to invite her over for a closer look. The female seems pleased and immediately starts preparing their new home. But soon, the two of them will face a challenge that will test their trust and endurance. They get busy collecting mud, the most important material for their nesting project. Their goal is to make the entrance smaller and smaller. Before it's completely sealed, the female must go inside first. That tiny hollow will be her home for the next 12 weeks, even using her own droppings to help close up the entrance. From this moment on, she depends entirely on her partner. The male takes charge of gathering more building materials from outside. They work in perfect coordination. The female narrows the opening bit by bit from within. It's her safest refuge, keeping out snakes and other predators. Soon, the hole is sealed, with only a thin slit left, just wide enough for food to pass through. For the next several weeks, the male will have only one mission: to keep feeding his mate, because from now on, her very survival depends entirely on him.